He drove around to his house and he sat outside in his car calling the bloke, and Paddy refused to come outside. That tells you all you need to know about.
Dan Hooker just dropped a story that instantly got fight fans talking. According to him, Conor McGregor once showed up outside Paddy Pimblett's house, and Paddy wouldn't even step out to face him. It's the kind of claim that spreads like wildfire, but once people started digging into it, the details didn't quite line up the way Hooker told it. And suddenly, what sounded explosive at first began raising a few eyebrows. This all went down during UFC 325 Media Day. Hooker was fielding questions ahead of his showdown with Benoît Saint Denis in Sydney. Cool, composed, and clearly ready for battle. Then the conversation shifted. A reporter brought up Paddy Pimblett and asked Hooker for his thoughts on Paddy's recent performance at UFC 324 against Justin Gaethje.
Dog shit. He talks an awful lot of shit for someone that fights like that.
He leaned in and kept the pressure on, doubling down on his take and making it clear he wasn't finished speaking his mind.
If the only thing coming out of that fight, the only thing coming out of it is that you got a good chin, coming from experience, you fought like shit. You know, like this guy talks, and then he gets caught on his shit and he just turns into victim. He goes into victim mode.
You could feel it. Conversations paused. Reporters straightened up. Cameras locked in.
Is that common knowledge that Conor, he talked shit about Conor McGregor, and then Conor McGregor drove around to his house? He drove around to his house and he sat outside in his car calling the bloke, and Paddy refused to come outside. That tells you all you need to know about.
We're talking more than 1.2 million views on one post alone. MMA accounts couldn't repost it fast enough. Championship Rounds shared it. Happy Punch ran with it. MMA Uncensored jumped in. It felt like every fight page on the internet had the clip circulating within hours. The big question, was any of it actually true? Hooker's version of events was crystal clear. He claimed Paddy had been running his mouth about Conor McGregor. In response, Conor allegedly drove straight to Paddy's place, parked outside, and started calling him out from the car. According to Hooker, Paddy never came out. He told the story like it was established fact, like this was something everyone in the MMA community already knew, and he used it to question Paddy's character. Basically saying that Paddy loves to talk, but when someone pulls up to test him, he disappears. That's when things took a turn, because once the clip started gaining traction, the internet did what it always does. It investigated. And the deeper people looked, the more the timeline started to fall apart. The incident Hooker was referencing appears to trace back to 2017. At that time, Conor was in Liverpool, attending the Grand National Horse Race. Reports say he had been celebrating for days. Around 3 a.m., still in party mode, Conor supposedly heard about a local up-and-coming fighter named Paddy Pimblett, another Cage Warriors product, just like himself, so he decided he wanted to link up. But here's the twist, he didn't end up at Paddy's home at all. Instead, Conor reportedly knocked on the door of a completely McGregor was supposedly outside my house. I'd heard he was in Liverpool and that he and his team caused a bit of noise at someone's place. But my house has CCTV, and he never showed up there. Paddy flat out dismissed the entire narrative. He explained that Conor wasn't hunting for a confrontation. He wasn't trying to press anyone, according to Paddy. It was around 3 in the morning. Conor had been partying for days, and he was simply looking for more company, not a fight, just a late-night link-up while he was in town. So when Hooker's retelling started making the rounds, fans weren't exactly comment sections lit up. One user wrote that the whole thing was exaggerated, saying Conor had turned up in the early hours clearly intoxicated and just wanted Paddy to come out and join the party. Another questioned the logic altogether, pointing out that if there had really been serious tension, Conor would have blasted it across social media himself. Others reminded everyone that Paddy had already spoken about this years ago, suggesting McGregor likely ended up at the wrong address entirely. Even major MMA outlets approached the claim cautiously. Publications like Give Me Sport, Bloody Elbow, and MMA Fighting covered the situation with skepticism, highlighting that there's no concrete proof backing the dramatic version of events. There's also zero proof that Paddy was trashing Conor back in 2017. If anything, it was the opposite. Early in his run, Paddy openly praised McGregor. Most of their public exchanges over the years have been respectful, not hostile. And let's be honest, if Conor McGregor had truly driven to someone's house to confront them over trash talk, do you really think we wouldn't have heard about it? This is the same Conor who documents everything. If there had been real drama, it would have been on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. The silence speaks volumes. Still, Hooker wasn't concerned with any of that context. He told the story the way he framed it, using it to underline his opinion. About Paddy's personality, true or not, it served the narrative he wanted to push. So how did we even get here? Because a few weeks ago, these two weren't trading shots like this. There wasn't any visible tension. The spark reportedly lit in early January 2026. Paddy was in the middle of an interview when the conversation turned to Arman Tsarukyan. And whether he deserved a crack at the title, Paddy said he didn't. And then began naming other lightweights he felt were more worthy. That's when Dan Hooker's name unexpectedly entered the chat, out of nowhere. Paddy shifted focus and took aim at Hooker, saying bluntly that he didn't belong in that conversation. He shouldn't be headbutting guys at weigh-ins and then pulling out of title fights the night before. He can sit this one out. It caught people off guard. No one had even mentioned Hooker. Yet Paddy inserted him into the conversation and brought up old controversies, accusing him of being reckless and unreliable. Hooker heard about it. At first, he didn't fire back. He let it simmer. But then things escalated. In a separate interview, Paddy took it a step further. While joking about Hooker's ground game, he crossed the line. He made a crude remark implying Hooker couldn't grapple his way out of an extreme situation involving his own mother. It was said on camera, and it instantly raised eyebrows. Paddy later brushed it off as dark humor. Just exaggerated banter meant to highlight what he sees as Hooker's weakness. On the mat, he insisted it wasn't personal, just typical Liverpool-style trash talk. Even Michael Bisping chimed in, suggesting that cultural context matters, and that kind of blunt humor isn't unusual. Where Paddy's from. Hooker didn't care about context. He saw it as a direct shot at his family, and that's where he drew the line. He jumped on X and fired off a blunt message. It's on site. The tone was clear. This wasn't playful anymore, but it didn't stop there. Hooker then brought up something deeply personal. Paddy's close friend Ricky, who tragically passed away in 2022. Paddy has spoken publicly about that loss, about how much it devastated him, and he's used his platform to encourage conversations around mental health and suicide awareness. Mental health, he's broken down in interviews talking about it. He's encouraged men to speak up. It's something that clearly means a lot to him. And Hooker went straight at it. In follow-up interviews and posts, Hooker brought up Ricky's passing and suggested that maybe Paddy could have done more. As a friend, the phrasing differed depending on where you read it, but the intention felt obvious. He was aiming to wound. When reporters pressed him on whether he'd gone too far, Hooker didn't walk it back. Not even slightly. Play with fire and you get burned, he essentially said. You go low, I'll go lower. He admitted Paddy had genuinely gotten under his skin. He said he was angry. He wanted to respond, and as far as he was concerned, there was no repairing it, no handshake, no apology tour. Hooker made it clear he wanted Paddy to feel what he felt, and he wasn't concerned about public opinion. In his mind, the line had already been crossed the moment his mother was dragged into it. Paddy, of course, fired back. He called Hooker's comments about Ricky disgraceful, said bringing up someone who's no longer here isn't trash talk, it's crossing into something darker. He labeled it the lowest move possible. Then he added his own fuel to the fire, saying if it's on site, that works for him, and took another swipe at Hooker's skills for good measure. At this point, there's no gray area left. That means if they cross paths in person, things could get physical. This feud isn't just about octagon matchups anymore. It's personal, emotions are high, and the tension could easily spill beyond the cage. The MMA community is split. Some fans back Hooker, arguing that Paddy kicked things off by dragging his mother into it. Others side with Paddy, insisting that using a friend's suicide as ammo is completely unacceptable. Reddit threads erupted with hundreds of heated comments, with fans debating who's in the right and who's in the wrong. One thing everyone can agree on, this conflict escalated at lightning speed. This isn't your typical fighter trash talk. This is to athletes aiming to cut deep with their words. And it all unfolded over just a few short weeks. So who exactly is Paddy Pimblett? And why does this matter so much? Paddy Pimblett is a lightweight fighter hailing from Liverpool, England, famously nicknamed the Baddie. He stands 5 feet 10 inches with a 73-inch reach before joining the UFC. He held the Cage Warriors featherweight title, the same promotion that helped launch Conor McGregor's career. From the very start, comparisons to McGregor were unavoidable. Dana White himself has said, Paddy Pimblett reminds me of Conor McGregor. Both men are charismatic, outspoken, and came up through Cage Warriors. Earning early attention for their skills and personalities, both fighters naturally draw massive attention. They have that rare ability to connect with fans, hype up events, and sell fights with personality alone, but the comparisons don't always lean in Paddy's favor. While Conor McGregor established himself by backing up his trash talk with devastating knockouts, Paddy's record shows more ups and downs. He's had impressive wins, but he's also had moments where he appeared exposed, taking too many hits, fading in later rounds, or getting outclassed on the feet. His latest bout at UFC 324 against Justin Gaethje ended in defeat, and according to Hooker, it was a rough night. Paddy got outstruck and finished. The only silver lining was that he proved he can take a punch. But having a solid chin doesn't mean much if the fight slips away. Paddy's style is compelling. Though a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, he averages to 0.1 submission attempts every 15 minutes and boasts 9 career submissions. On the mat, he's lethal. His guillotine choke is vicious, his back control is impressive, and he can finish fights from virtually any position, but standing up presents challenges. He lands 3.41 significant strikes per minute at 50% accuracy. Decent numbers, but he absorbs more than he dishes out, taking for 0.3 strikes per minute with only 42% defense. His head movement isn't exceptional, so trading on the feet often comes with a cost. Takedowns are another weak point. Paddy averages 1.6 for takedowns per 15 minutes, hitting only about 1 in 3 attempts. Against someone with solid takedown defense, getting the fight to the ground, where he's most dangerous, could be an uphill battle. Weight management. Paddy has gained a bit of notoriety for how much weight he puts on after fights. It's not unusual for him to balloon past 200 pounds post-fight, then cut back down to 155 for his next bout. Even Conor McGregor was taken aback. In 2022, during a FaceTime call at Paddy's Dublin pub, the Black Forge, Conor couldn't hide his surprise at how much weight Paddy had packed on. Some analysts argue that this kind of weight cycling can affect performance, draining cardio, impacting durability, and making him less efficient in fights. The theory is that staying closer to fight weight year-round might benefit him still. None of that has slowed Paddy's rise as one of the UFC's most popular stars. His fan base, particularly in the UK, is massive. People are drawn to his personality, his accent, and the fact that he never holds back. Even critics who think he's overhyped can't resist tuning in when he steps into the cage. Paddy has openly called out nearly everyone in the division. He's thrown verbal jabs at Ilia Topuria, Arman Tsarukyan, Bobby Green, Rafael dos Anjos, Islam Makhachev, Renato Moicano, Dustin Poirier, and now Dan Hooker. At this point, he has beef with half the lightweight roster. What sets his trash talk apart is his style. He peppers his insults with British slang that often confuses American fighters. He calls people sausages, helmets, and mushrooms, creating a unique mix of humor and menace, all amplified by his Liverpool accent. Back at UFC London 2022, his confrontation with Ilia Topuria turned chaotic. Security had to intervene as both fighters yelled backstage. That encounter sparked a long-running feud, with Paddy labeling Topuria a little sausage and continuing to throw playful, yet cutting insults that stick in fans' minds. Remarks about Georgian fighters that fans called offensive and racially insensitive. He even said he wanted a matchup with Topuria in Spain just to silence critics. Paddy doesn't hold back. He went after Bobby Green ahead of their UFC 300 for fight, calling him a proper tool and a proper __ human being, claiming Green didn't have the courage to confront him in person at the same event. Paddy backed up the talk, dominating that fight in the cage. He also had words for Dustin Poirier, criticizing his retirement bout as dog.